Bom dia, pessoal. Sejam todos muito bem-vindos. Estamos aí começando mais uma edição da nossa série de webinars, de acesso a mercados aqui do Brazilian Health Devices. Hoje, o nosso encontro vai ter como foco o mercado da Malásia de dispositivos médicos. Antes de iniciarmos de fato o conteúdo, queria passar algumas orientações gerais sobre como a gente vai tocar hoje as nossas apresentações e logo em breve cumprimentar e agradecer a presença dos nossos parceiros que toparam fazer essas apresentações hoje. Bem, para que vocês me conheçam, eu sou José Fernando Dantas, coordenador de acesso a mercados aqui na Abimo. Essa série de webinars é uma iniciativa do Brazilian Health Devices para apoiar as indústrias que tenham interesse nos mercados internacionais, os mercados considerados aí alvo e prioritários às exportações. Nosso objetivo é compartilhar informações relevantes para vocês mensalmente sobre diferentes mercados. Hoje nós vamos ter aí a presença de parceiros importantes na Malásia que atuam na parte comercial e de registro de dispositivos médicos. Então, nada mais a acrescentar, eu queria só realmente desejar a vocês um bom webinar. Fiquem despreocupados, a gente está gravando conteúdo e, como de costume, a gente vai publicar essa gravação no nosso canal do YouTube. Então, fica até um convite, caso vocês tenham perdido alguma outra edição que a gente já realizou de webinars sobre outros mercados, basta acessar o YouTube e procurar pelo canal do Brazilian Health Devices. Existe uma playlist dedicada aí a todos esses webinars da nossa série. Bem, peço aqui para a melhor dinâmica do nosso webinar que vocês deixem microfone e câmera, desculpa, só o microfone desligado. As perguntas que vocês reservem para o final, a gente vai ter um momento ali de uma sessão de perguntas e respostas. O conteúdo vai ser, como nossos parceiros são malásios, em grande parte, o conteúdo vai ser ministrado em inglês. Mas, enfim, qualquer dúvida, vocês podem usar o chat ou se manifestar pelo microfone. Eu vou então começar aqui a falar em inglês, só para cumprimentar e a gente dar início então às sessões das apresentações e chamar aqui aos palestrantes. Eh, well, starting now to speak in English, just to connect everybody, I would like to first take this opportunity to thank our partners in Malaysia who accepted this invitation to participate with us in this webinar. Today we have here the Medical Device Authority of Malaysia, MDA, the Malaysian Investment Development Authority, MIDA, and also the Association of Malaysian Medical Industries, AMMI. Uh, Thank you again for accepting this invitation and to join us today. Thank you also, Mr. Rafael from Opus Paqui, our affiliate here in Abimo, who kindly is participating also and will be sharing with us his experience in the country. Thank you also, and a special thank for the Embassy of Brazil in Kuala Lumpur, Ms. Daniela, who is the ambassador, it's participating with us today. A special thanks for Mr. Victor Cirni for being, responsible for the organization of this webinar, all the assistants, for being this bridge between Abimo and Malaysia. Thank you for your support. I will briefly just introduce Abimo and in its role. Abimo is the Brazilian Medical Devices Manufacturers Association. We represent in Brazil more than 300 manufacturers producing not only medical, but also dental, laboratory, and also rehabilitation products. We assist these companies in different areas, one of them being exportation. So we assist them, the informations about the markets in trade promotion initiatives such as trade fairs, business rounds, everything that can help them and facilitate their path towards the international market. Malaysia for us, it's a very important market. It's the second main destination of the Brazilian medical devices exportation to the Southeast region in Asia. So, in the last year, we had more than $600,000 exported from Brazil in medical devices. The medical and dental products from Brazil are well received in the country, being the most significant in terms of volume of exportation. So for us in Abimo, it's a great pleasure to host this webinar. We hope this event will be an opportunity for us to build more bridges between Brazil and Malaysia, and also to foster new partnerships between both countries. So thank you again, everybody, for connecting. I will now pass and invite Mr. Andy Lee, who is board member of the Medical Device Authority in Malaysia, to speak his initial remarks. And then we will start our agenda. Please, Mr. Andy.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Jose. Good morning and to everyone on the webinar, and of course, good evening to my colleagues here in Malaysia. Your Excellency, Ambassador Designate of Brazil to Malaysia, Ms. Danelia. Of course, Mr. Jose being the coordinator for us at APIMO, representatives from the Medical Device Authority Malaysia, and of course, the Malaysian Investment Development Authority, MIDA, right? Distinguished guests, and of course, my industry colleagues. Just let me introduce myself. I am the board member of the Medical Device Authority, which is the regulator of the medical device for Malaysia. I am the appointed board member by the Minister of Health Malaysia. If there is a chance later, I think one of my colleagues from the MDA will explain the legislative framework of the regulations of medical device for Malaysia, right? That also may also specify the board members' composition, right? How the board of MDA is governed, yeah, besides the bureaucrats of the authority itself, right? So just a bit of the explanation. And of course, in that role, the Minister of Health has the ability to appoint a member of what I call a member of the industry, which is at this point in time, I'm the chairman of the AMMI, which is the Medical Device Manufacturers Association in Malaysia, which is a position that I've held for about 5 years, right? So really a pleasure to actually serve the medical device industry for Malaysia. Yep. So just to continue, is really it is a privilege to welcome all of you today as we come together to discuss and share Malaysia's medical device ecosystem. The Medical Device Authority has been instrumental in shaping a robust and progressive regulatory framework that supports innovation while safeguarding public health and patient safety, right? As we navigate a dynamic healthcare landscape fueled by technological advancement, growing patient needs, and global challenges, I think specifically today, what we face with the Trump administration really encapsulate the global challenge we are facing today, right? And of course, the collaboration between regulators, industry players, and stakeholders has never been more critical today, right? Today's session is an opportunity to strengthen that partnership, share insights, and align our efforts towards a sustainable, world-class medical device industry not just for Malaysia and also for Brazil, right? So on behalf of the Medical Device Authority Malaysia, I extend my deepest appreciation to the Embassy of Brazil in Kuala Lumpur and the Brazilian Medical Device Manufacturers Association, ABIMO, for this collaboration, and to all on the webinar for your dedication and time today in joining the session as we speak. Right. So I look forward to a productive and engaging dialogue that will pave way for the shared success in the medical device industry for both Malaysia and also Brazil. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Andy. Thank you for your kind words. Now I invite and ask the ambassador designate of Brazil to Malaysia, Ms. Daniela Ortega, to say her remarks.
Good
Please,
morning.
Daniela.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. Good morning to those in Brazil, and good evening to those of you in Malaysia. Mr. Andy Lee, Chairman of the Association of Malaysian Medical Industries and Board Member, MDA. Mrs. Nasira Naimi, Deputy Director of the International and Industry Affairs Division, MDA. Mr. Isham Abdul Kadir, Deputy Director of Life Sciences and Medical Technology Division, MIDA. Mr. José Fernando Dantas, Market Access Coordinator of ABIMO. And I'm not sure he's already here, Mr. Fernando Jacinto, represented, I think, by Mr. Renan, Chief Commercial Officer of Opus PAC. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here today. I just, first of all, introducing myself, of course, I am the current should be arriving in Malaysia from 1st of August and look forward to working with all of you. I would like to express my appreciation to the Brazilian Medical Devices Manufacturers Association, to the Medical Device Authority of Malaysia, to the Malaysian Investment Development Authority, to the Association of Malaysian Medical Industries, and to Opus PAC, all speakers at today's event. This webinar is possible thanks to the interest of all of you in bringing Malaysia and Brazil closer together, specifically in this field of medical devices. The idea of this webinar came about from the interest from the Brazilian side in getting to know Malaysia a little bit better. Actors in the private sector looking for new markets and innovative ways of working bridged the geographical gaps between Brazil and Malaysia and showcased us the possibilities around the medical devices sector. This doesn't come as a surprise, as we are currently experiencing a very important phase in our bilateral relations. In the last few years, Brazil and Malaysia have experienced an unprecedented dynamism. In 2022, Brazil became a sectoral dialogue partner of ASEAN, a decision that included the commitment of Brazilian government to work on a large range of topics with Malaysia and other countries, of course, in the bloc of ASEAN. Despite being very distant geographically, our governments converge on various topics on the international agenda, especially in the emphasis on partnerships within the Global South. In 2024, we have made progress in high-level dialogue on several fronts, culminating in the visit of His Excellency Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, of course, Prime Minister of Malaysia, to Brazil in November last year at the invitation from President Lula to the G20 summit, and most recently also to the BRICS summit when I had the honor to meet him in person. Throughout this period, trade between our countries has grown at a steady rhythm. Bilateral flows have been consistently growing, and in 2024, we reached almost $6 billion. However, we don't want to stop here. there is great potential for continued expansion and diversification of Brazilian exports. I must also take a moment to note the convergence of objectives and interests in doing business between our two countries. There are strong partnerships already between Malaysia and Brazilian companies. On the Brazilian side, Vale has been investing in Malaysia since 2014, and WEG views Malaysia as a strategic hub to ASEAN and other Asian markets. From the Malaysian standpoint, companies like Petronas and Yinson have emerged as major players in the Brazilian oil and gas market. The Embassy of Brazil has made a priority to promote partnerships between our national and private sectors. We stand ready to work with you to increase Malaysian investments in Brazil, as well as to increase Brazilian investments in Malaysia. In this context, the medical devices sector represents an interesting case for this expansion. Both our governments have a commitment to ensuring the right to health, providing solid government financial to ensure medical products reach their population. Despite being middle-income countries, Brazil and Malaysia have developed robust and innovative industries in the medical devices sector, capable of attaining the highest standards in quality and safety. As geopolitics are now affecting trade, investment, and business decisions in all corners. However, dividing the world into isolated political or economic groups should be opposed. Brazil and Malaysia have historically made dialogue, peace, and cooperation with all parties to be central guidelines of the political and economic decision-making. So, in view of the turbulent times for international trade, Brazil and Malaysia should reinforce their ties to protect our mutual access to regional and global production chains. So, thank you very much again, and I look forward to working with you and especially meeting all the Malaysian counterparts very soon in Kuala Lumpur. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Daniela. Thank you for your kind words. I now would like to ask everybody who's watching to open your cameras just for us to take a screenshot to register our webinar. Então, peço para todo mundo ligar a câmera muito rapidamente, só para a gente tirar uma foto e registrar aqui o webinar, por favor. Já vamos tirar aqui. Vamos lá. Perfeito. Thank you so much. And now I would like to ask Ms. Nashira, the Deputy Director of the International Industry Affairs Division of MDA, to present the introduction to the Medical Device Authority in Malaysia and its roles. Please, Ms. Nashira.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jose. And sorry, there's a small technical problem here.
Don't worry. I can hear you well. I was seeing the presentation, but now it's off.
Yeah, we need to change because that's not my presentation anyway.
Don't worry. It's loading
Hold on,
now.
yeah. All right. Okay.
Perfect. Just to make sure it's a full screen. There it is. Thank
All
you.
right. Okay. So, this is a topic that I will be presenting on behalf of MDA, the introduction to MDA and its role. Right? And just to just to remind that my slide would be a bit similar to another slide from my team here, but but it will be from a different aspect. So there might be some slide that I will be escaping, and also there are some that I only touch a bit as the slide will be explained further by my colleagues here in another topic. All right. So I will give on the what is MDA and what is the role of MDA in Malaysia. Okay, this is a bit an overview of MDA in Malaysia, where we were actually were governed by two acts, which is the 737 and 738. 738 is the Medical Device Authority 2012, where that's the enabler of the establishment of Medical Device Authority. Whereas the Medical Device Act 2012, Act 737, and the subsidiary legislation is actually explaining what is need to be done by MDA. What is the thing that we regulate and how we regulate. Okay, so these two acts give powers to the Ministry of Health, and also Medical Device Authority. Medical Device Authority is actually the board, the one that been mentioned by Mr. Andy just now. Okay, we actually in the act we didn't call that as a board, but we call it as Medical Device Authority. Consists of members from the Ministry of Health, from our CE, Chief Executive self, and also from the representative from the finance, Ministry of Health, finance, and also from the representative from the industry. And it is chaired by our Director General of Ministry of Health. And under Medical Device Authority, we have the Chief Executive, which is Mr. Dr. Murali Tariq at the moment, and also all the officers under the Ministry of Health to regulate the CAB users and also the establishment. Under the Act of 737, establishment consists of manufacturer, ARs, distributor, and also importers. Okay, and this establishment will be licensed under the licensing and registration division, and this topic will be given by my colleague afterward. All right, and we also, the Medical Device Authority also facilitate the industry, and through the association, which is the AMNI, MAGMA, MMDA, Parantim, and also MDIA. And we also have a few others association also, other than the one that we mentioned here. Right? This is the MDA organization chart. However, okay, I just explain on what actually what is a division under the Medical Device Authority. We have here the Policy and Strategic Planning Division, Pre-Market Control Division, Industry and International Affairs Division, Post-Market and Surveillance Division, and also Enforcement Division. However, recently, starting from the 1st July, we have a bit of rotation and also new units and also new division that have already been formed since 1st July 2025. But basically, it's actually the same thing as what we have presented here. It's just that a small alteration that we have made to uh, to organize, to manage, to further manage the process, the processes under medical device authority. Right. So under the policy and strategic planning division, we have policy and technical research and also strategic planning. Under pre-market control division, it is the registration branch and also licensing branch, which we have the representative here to give the talk afterward. And also under the industry and international affairs division, we have two branches, which is the international affair where I'm posted now, and also industry facilitation. Right? This is the hierarchy of legal documents. The top level of this hierarchy is the act, the two acts that I mentioned just now, which is the 737 and 738. Under the act, we have the regulations, which is the medical device regulation since 2012 that has been effective since 1st July 2013. After that, we also have medical device advertising regulation, which is the MDR 2019, effective from the 1st July 2020. Medical device duties and obligation of establishment regulation 2019, effective 1st July 2020. And medical device compounding of offenses regulation 2024. This is the most recent regulation that we have. And we are now developing on the regulation on the usage of medical device. And we are expecting that to be gazetted by end of this year, right? And below the regulation, we have the declaration, the order, which is the Medical Device Declaration Order 2017 on the non-corrective contact lenses. It was in 2017 where non-corrective contact lenses is not supposed to be classified as medical device. However, due to public issues and also public health issues that was really terrible at that time, and we have come up with a suggestion to the minister to declare the non-corrective contact lenses to be classified as medical device so that the MDA has the power to control the device. So that's why we have that order, the declaration, the medical device declaration order. And the next order that we have is medical device exemption order 2034, that we exempted certain medical devices exempted from the requirement of registration of the product due to certain purposes that we have already mentioned in the order, right? I guess that one will be touched by Ramadan. One. All right, never mind. Okay, so next is the circular letters and the guidance documents, and also we have all the standards that involve that is related to medical devices. All right. Okay, next. Okay, this is the medical device framework, which consists of pre-market, placement on the market, and post-market. Briefly, I can say that under the pre-market, there are a few pre-market assessment, which is the manufacturer of the medical device shall ensure the EPSP, QMS, manufacturing, and collect evidence on of the conformity. And also placement on the market, we have two elements here, which is the medical device registration and also establishment license. Those elements will be explained further by the two representatives from the registration branch and also the licensing branch. And lastly, we have the post-market. Under the post-market, we have the surveillance and vigilance that will be explained further by another colleague. And usage and maintenance. This is where that I mentioned just now on the upcoming regulation on the usage and maintenance, that user shall use, maintain, and dispose of medical devices appropriately, and users shall apply for permit to use, operate designated medical devices. Okay, this is under the section 43 and section 26 to 36 of Act 737. Okay, and MDA monitors compliance to requirements and takes appropriate action in accordance with the provision of the law. Next. Okay. This is a definition of medical device. The definition of medical device is actually stated under the 737 Act under Section 2, interpretation of medical device. It consists of general medical device, in vitro medical device, and also declaration by order. This will be explained further by our representative from the registration branch. Okay, so risk-based, we also will touch on the risk-based classification. And this risk-based classification, it depends on the intended purpose and mechanism of action, duration of use, which is the under transient, short-term, and so long-term, and part of human body, whether it's non-invasive or invasive, with respect to body orifices, surgically invasive intervention, CCS and CNS. These are a few rules of classification that has been listed here, and this also will be explained further by my colleague. On the grouping, we have a single family of system set, in vitro test kit, in vitro cluster. This is also will be explained further by my colleague. Okay, this is on the establishment that I have mentioned just now. Under the 737, we have 4 categories under the establishment, which is the manufacturer, AR, importer, and distributor. The manufacturer is a license granted to an establishment who manufacture a medical device. Other than that, in our Act, the person who owns a brand is also considered a manufacturer. Owns the brand means they are not manufacturing the brand, the product. There's an OEM company manufacturing the product for them, but the brand, the owner of the brand is the company. So that company will be considered as a manufacturer, even though they are not manufacturing the product. Okay, so that is the authorized representative, a license granted to an establishment who representing a foreign medical device manufacturer relating to any regulatory obligation under Act 737. And we also have importer, a license granted to an establishment who perform importation of medical devices, and importer shall only import registered medical device and is authorized by the AR or manufacturer of the medical device. And also lastly, we have distributor here, a license granted to an establishment who perform distribution of medical device. A distributor shall only distribute registered medical device and is authorized by the AR manufacturer of the medical device. This topic will be explained further by another colleague afterward. Okay, this is an overview of medical device registration process, where we have the process of new registration, re-registration, and change notification. I will not touch about this because this will be under the pre-market requirement. And also, this is the license application process, where we have a new license renewal, and also amendment that will be explained further afterward. Okay, skip now. Okay, we have to skip this slide because it's similar to what that will be explained next. And we have also have conformity assessment process. Conformity assessment process will be on the QMS, PMS system, summary technical documentation, and also the OC. Okay. This is a statistic of the registration of registration of the products, establishment license that we have produced, CAB registered CAB with MDA, and also registered CAB personnel with MDA. And up to current situation, we have 21,154 total establishment that has been licensed. This consists of the 4 categories under the establishment. 72,424 total registration of devices, 22 total registered CABs, and also under the CAB, the personnel also registered with MDA is about 129. This is a summary of what is actually needed under the establishment license. Under the pre-market, placement in the market, post-market, and also establishment license under the class A, B, C, and D. This also will be explained further afterward. Okay. This is the trade performance in medical device industry and from 2015 until 2024. The top 5 export destination in 2024 was, which is last year, USA, Belgium, Germany, Singapore, and Japan. Major product that has been exported is the surgical and examination gloves, needles, catheters, cannula, instrument, and appliances used in medical or veterinary, orthopedic and other appliances worn, carried, or implanted into the body, and electrodiagnostic apparatus. And major imported product which is coming into Malaysia is the medical instrument and appliances, needles, catheter, cannula, electrodiagnostic apparatus, and contact lens. So this is the statistic from Matrix that has been produced to us on the approved investment during 2015 to 2024. Okay, so this is actually the registration topic, but I will touch a bit on the how the public to search the medical device through our portal. Under our portal, there's a section where the industry, the public, can check whether a medical device has been in the market, has been registered with MDA. This is what we call the public search in our portal, and this has assist the public to be confident on purchasing the right medical device in the market. So that's all on my presentation. I will pass the next presentation to Ms. Nur Fazila that will explain further on the pre-market requirements on the registration of product.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Fazila from the Pre-Market Control Division. So today, my topics will be on the overview of medical device registration framework in Malaysia. Okay, next. Okay, here is a hierarchy of legal documentation. But what I would like to highlight here is for you, if you want to refer to the circulars, guidance document related to the registration, you can use the QR code there, and it will bring you to our documentation that published by MDA. Okay, so okay. So we have circulars which related to medical device, such as the conformity assessment for the reference from the reference country. We have refurbishment, and also you can also check out the guidance document on the CSTT, EPSP, classification, grouping. This one is related to the registration of the medical device. So this is basically the content of the Medical Device Act 2012, Act 737. It's divided into 6 parts. And for part 2 related to the registration of the medical device. And for the Medical Device Regulation 2012, you can refer directly to the part number 3 for the related on the registration of medical device, part 2 for the conformity assessment procedure, and also on the labeling. Okay. So basically, before you are intended to place the device in the market, during the pre-market, as a manufacturer, you have to compile all your technical documentation, such as the CSTT, EPSP, all the testing reports, example, related to the safety and effective of the device. And these documents will be submitted to CAB to verify the evidence of your conformity. So if the documentation is adequate, the CAB will produce the CAB certificate and report on the assessment of the product. Okay, which later you can use it during the placement on the market. You have to submit for the registration during the medical device registration. So only local manufacturer and authorized representative can apply for the medical device registration. Okay, so next. Okay, so these are related to establishment that is licensed under MDA. As highlight here, only the manufacturer, which is local, and the authorized representative. Authorized representative refer to those that appointed by the foreign manufacturer. Their role is to acting as to register the medical device on behalf of the foreign manufacturer. Okay, so this is the definition of medical device, which are under the section 2 of Act 737. As a manufacturer, it is required for you to refer to this definition in order to classify whether your product is a medical device or not. Okay, if your device is a medical device, then you are required to register the device prior to placement the product in the Malaysian market. So here we have general medical device, which refer to instrument, apparatus, implement, machine, appliance, implant, software, material for the purpose of diagnosis, prevention, monitoring, treatment, or alleviation of disease, diagnosis, monitoring, treatment, or alleviation of or compensation for an injury, investigation, replacement, modification, or support of the anatomy or of the physiological process, supporting or sustaining life, control of conception, and disinfection of a medical device. So these are under the general medical device. And for in vitro medical device is referred to device that is providing information for medical or diagnosis purpose by means of in vitro examination of specimen which derived from the human body. So the main thing here is this device are only for human being. Our app is controlled for the human being only, and it does not achieve its primary intended action in or on the human body by pharmacological, immunological, or metabolic means. Okay. So other than that, we have declaration by order, which previously has been highlighted by Ms. Nashira. With regard to the corrective contact lens, which is actually has been declared as a medical device and required to be registered under the MDA. Okay, let's say if you are not able to clarify your product is a medical device or not, at the point underneath the bottom part, we have a product classification application form and relevant information which you can refer to our website. We have listed the item which we identify as not medical device. And we also have provided a harmonized borderline where you can refer the item that we justify as medical device or not. Also, some information under the medical device drug combination. Okay, and if you are still unsure, you can submit an application form to us, and we will evaluate, and we will issue you a letter whether your product is a medical device or not. Okay. Okay, since this is an overview of the medical device registration framework in Malaysia, as I mentioned earlier, that you have to determine first whether your product is a medical device or not. And if you are not sure, then you can apply for the product classification. Okay. After you have confirmed your product is a medical device, then you can put a medical device intended purpose on the product, on the device, and it have to be specific. For example, if you use like for surgery, that one is general. You have to be more specific. If diagnostic, it's for diagnostic of what? Okay. And then you have to refer to our guidance document and regulation. How to choose the rule of classification of your device and the grouping. Okay. And then you can start compiling all the technical documentation on the CSTP. Okay. So next, after that, before that, after you have all the documentation, you can conduct a conformity assessment procedure under a registered CAB, under MDA. So there are two routes of the conformity assessment. One is by the full conformity assessment, and the other one by way of verification. So for the full conformity assessment, is referring to the device that does not have any pre-market approval from the 6 recognized country. So what are the 6 recognized countries here is the here MHRA, Japan, US FDA, EU, Australia, and Health Canada. Okay. And then this is only applicable for Class B, C, and D. In terms of Class A medical device, it is excluding from the conformity assessment by CAB. So for the Class A, you can directly submit the application of registration to MDA under the MEDCAS application system. Okay, after you have received the conformity assessment certificate and report from the CAB, then you can submit all the documentation with the certificate and audit report to MDA under the MEDCAS application system and apply for the registration. So our system is online-based system. Okay, once you submit, you will require to pay for the application fee here for Class A, B, C, and D. And then after you make payment, then we will start for the evaluation process. Okay, so the evaluation process requires 14 to 30 working days upon complete documentation submitted. Okay. So after, if we find that all the documentation and all the information provided is complete, then the product will be approved and you will prompt to pay for the registration fee. So you can refer here, we have the registration fee for Class B, C, D, and combination product. For Class A, currently there is no registration fee. Okay, after you make payment, then a certificate of registration will be issued to you. So this one is general system generated. So it's an electronic certificate. Okay. The next step, after you have registered, then the device will be listed in the register in our public search, where the user or hospital, they can search for your device to check whether the device has been registered or not. Okay. And then after that, you can place the device in the market. Within these 5 years, the certificate of medical device registration, you will have the validity of 5 years. So during these 5 years, in case that you have any changes to the information of the registration, you can submit a change notification to us. For example, you want to add another manufacturing site, then you can submit the change notification application. Okay. So the next one, after let's say your certificate is going to expire, then you still want to continue to place the medical device in Malaysia, then you can apply for the re-registration application. So the process will be similarly. You will be required to conduct the conformity assessment and apply for the medical device registration. So that is the whole process of the medical device registration. Okay. Thanks. Okay, so this is the medical device approval process. We are here as separated between Class A and B, C, and D, because Class A is low risk and it does not require to do the conformity assessment by the CAP. So the documentation for Class A is basically we'll have the QMS ISO 13485. You required to submit the medical device detail, class, rule, and grouping, the labeling, IFU, and brochure for the device. Any, if applicable, if it is sterile, you have to provide the sterilization validation report, for biological evaluation report, calibration, and metrological report if applicable. And then the other document is post-market system and the declaration of conformity. For Class B, C, and D, again, as you can see here, we have verification pathway. If the medical device has received approval from the 6 recognized country here, then you can apply for the verification pathway. But if not, then you have to go through the full assessment pathway. So here, the Class B, C, and D, the additional document that's required here is the CSCT, the Common Submission Dossier Template, Essential Principle of Safety and Performance, the Summary of Design Verification and Validation Documents, Preclinical Study, Software Validation Study, and Clinical Evidence for the device. Okay, these are the addition document in compared to the Class A. And then step 4, you can, after you have all the documentation, you can submit for the registration. So we will review and approve and put it in the medical device register for 5 years. Okay, you will have the registration certificate number, and there's application and registration fee. So once approved, what you can do with the device, you can do the change management. You are also subject to enforcement action. You are required to comply with the advertisement. If you require, you can apply to re-registration. Okay. So and also other post-market activity, and if there is any usage and maintenance related to the device. So these are the approval issued by recognized competent authority permitted by MDA for the conformity assessment by way of verification process. So for TGA, RTG registration certificate, Health Canada, only the Health Canada license. Okay, for Japan, we have pre-market certification in show and pre-market approval Shoni. And number 4, it's more specific. These are on what we accepted for the verification under the EU notified body. For US FDA, we only accept for the 510K clearance and pre-market approval. And also under the UK MHRA, we have for Great Britain and also for Northern Ireland. However, from time to time, we might actually consider to add another country. So you can refer and this detail from our announcement from time to time. Okay. So this is the risk-based classification. As a manufacturer, you can refer this in our guidance document on classification and also regulation, because although that our risk-based classification might be similar to in your country, but there might be some device which may be differently classified. So you have to follow the classification rule, the class and rule under the this our regulation. Okay. Okay, so for grouping, the condition for grouping, it have to be under one generic proprietary name, one manufacturer, and one common intended purpose. So you can register the device as a single item, or you can also group it as family or family of system. For example, you have same device, but with different spec, maybe color different or a bit different on the design, specification. Then you can group it under family. You can also register it as a system together with the accessory, provided that you have to provide it the IFU that the device is to be used as one system. And for set, where you have a set of device, maybe more than one device in one set, and you supply it under as a set, then you can register as a set. For the system and set, the combination of the device might have a few items where with different class. So when submitted for registration, you have to apply for the highest class. Okay, so this apply for the general medical device. But for the IVD medical device, you have additional grouping. You can apply under in vitro test kit, or also is in vitro cluster. In vitro cluster is only applied for the class A or class B only. Okay. So these are the details on the conformity assessment process for this is only applied for class B, C, and D. As for class A, it is exempted from the CAP, conformity assessment. So the manufacturer have to do the assessment on the product on the QMS. For manufacturer, ISO 13485 for AR, they have to conduct GDP-MD. I highlight here because the conformity assessment will be the registration will be under the manufacturer and AR. So that is why the KMS here refer to AR for GDP-MD. And then we have post-market system on the distribution records, complaint records, adverse incident reporting, and field corrective action reporting. And the next one, summary on technical documentation. You have to use the format submission dossier template. This one we have a guidance and EPSP. So, and the next one, declaration of conformity. This declaration is to be made by the manufacturer of the medical device and signed by the manufacturer. So depend if your device have the approval from the 6th recognized country, then you can do the verification. If not, then you have to do the full conformity assessment. So CAB will review all this documentation, and this documentation also required to be submitted to MDA for the registration. Okay. So this is a more detail where we have stated this further in our guideline and guidance document on CSDT. So these are the elements in the CSDT. Example here, executive summary, including summary of the device with regard to maybe if your product has been marketed anywhere, you can state in this executive summary. If your device have approval from other country, then you can state in the executive summary. Then another one, EPSP, this is one of the required document for the registration. And description of medical device, including details, intended use, the technical and specification of your device. And then the next one, summary of design verification and validation documents. Preclinical study, maybe in terms of electrical safety testing report, or you have the biocompatibility testing, sterilization testing report. So depend on the applicability on your device, then you have to submit the testing report applicable. Software validation study is related to software. For medical device containing biological material, then you have to provide the certificate related to the safety of the biological material, the traceability, and then clinical evidence, use of existing bibliography, labeling, risk analysis, and manufacturer information, the legal manufacturer, manufacturing site. So these are important elements because if this is not completed, then your device will not be registered under the MDA. So in summary, this is we have detailed out the registration for class A, B, C, and D. So before you submit for the registration, you have to ensure that you have to apply for establishment license and get the establishment license certificate. After that, then you can submit for the medical device registration. So for class A is exempted, and for class B, C, and D is subject to the conformity assessment under our local registered CAB. So for the QMS, class A and B, you can establish and maintain a full QMS, or you may exclude the design and development control, process control, and inspection and testing. However, for class C and D, you have to establish and maintain a full QMS. Okay, for the PMS, okay, for class A, establish and maintain PMS system record and evaluate reports of adverse event. Technical documentation, medical device details, class, rule grouping, a brochure and RFU, and relevant testing report that is applicable for the device. For class B, C, and D, for PMS, you require the document, maintain and implement the complaint handling, distribution report, mandatory problem or adverse event reporting, FCA, and recalls. And for technical documentation, including information on the medical device detail, brochure or IFU, CSDT, which include all the executive summary, EPSP, description of medical device, summary of design, verification and validation, preclinical study, clinical evidence, labeling, risk analysis, and manufacturer information. So for class A, B, C, and D, you are required to submit, prepare and submit the declaration of conformity. And you can apply this under the MEDCAS application system. And if all documentation completed, then we will issue you the medical device registration certificate and number, and you can place the device in the market. Okay. So for class A, the application fee is 100 ringgit and there is no registration fee. And the review timeline is within 14 to 20 working days. For class B, C, and D, we have different application fee and registration fee here. And for the timeline is within 30 working days upon complete submission of documentation. Okay, so this is briefly on the change notification. We have category 1, 2, and 3. Category 1 meaning that your device require a new application, meaning that you have changed in terms of the intended use of the device, and then we have to apply for a new medical device registration. For category 2 and category 3, you can submit to MDA. Please be informed that you can choose, you can combine. If you, let's say you want to apply only one, then you can choose either Cat 1 or Cat 2. Or you can actually submit together combination of category 2 and category 3. Or we have also submission of application of change for a different ID, meaning that maybe you have two registration that you want to and have the same change, example, addition of site, then you can add under the multiple submission ID. So the timeline is different, where the single submission ID is 30 working days, and single submission ID with combined category 2 and 3, 60 working days, while multiple submission ID you can is under the 60 working days. Okay, the fee we have here fee for class A, B, C, D, and combination. For category 2, you can see the difference, and for category 3, all the same 30 ringgit for all classes. Okay, so for the change notification module, it's only apply for the registered medical device, and you cannot submit it concurrently with during re-registration application. Okay, and then you can application, the documentation required. We have NSP, NSC, and supporting document which is referred in the MECA system and also in our guidance document. Okay, next. Okay, so those devices that has been registered, it will be published on our public search for reference by the user, where they can search the device. Okay, our registration certificate, we only provide the electronic certificate, fully implement on 1st January 2024, and we also have QR code on the certificate for user to check if the information is tally. Yes. So that is all for my presentation. If you have any inquiry, you can call us on this telephone number, and you can refer all the documentation on our website. Okay, thank you for your attention.
But by the way, we also have the Q&A session at the end of our program today. So if there's any question regarding anything that we have presented, you may raise your question.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Norfazlila, for the presentation. I understand now that we have the participation of Mr. Fadzili for the pre-market requirements, right?
Yeah.
Yes, of course, I will continue the presentation with the introduction to requirement for establishment license. Just a moment, one wait. All right, so the slide has uploaded. So I'm sure everyone can see the slide. All right, so hello everyone. My name is Muhammad Fazli. Thank you for joining us today. So this session will provide.
Fazili,
yeah.
just to make sure that you are in the frame of the camera, because we are seeing this. Yeah,
All right,
now,
so
yeah,
everyone can see me. Hello.
yes, yes,
So
perfect.
again, my name is Fazli. I'm from licensing unit of the pre-market control division. Okay, so this session will provide us with the introduction to requirements for establishment licensing. All right, so next. All right, so under the section 15 of the Act 737, it is, sorry. All right, okay, so again, under the section 15 of the Act 737, it is a legal requirement that no establishment shall import, export, or place in the market any registered medical device unless it holds an establishment license. And the failure to comply with the subsection 1 constitute an offense under the subsection 2, which is punishable by law. All right, so next, so it's still loading. All right, so here at MDA, we issue establishment license to 4 types of establishments. First is manufacturer, second is authorized representative, third is distributor, and next is importer. Okay, next. All right, so this is an overview of the license application process. Okay, so manufacturer, authorized representative or AR, importer and distributor, first and foremost must conduct the conformity assessment procedure with the registered CAB. So manufacturer must show the compliance based on the requirement of ISO 13485, and the rest, AR, importer and distributor, must comply with the requirement of good distribution practice for medical device, the GDPMD. Once they have shown the compliance, they will be issued with the certificate and audit report, and they must apply the establishment license in our MEDCAS online system, where they have they required to submit all the required documents, and there will be evaluation by MDA. And once approved, MDA will issue the license, which is valid for 3 years. Okay, and only after obtaining the license, they can register the medical device and supply the registered medical device in the Malaysia market. And throughout the 3 years, if there is any changes in the information of the manufacturer or the AR, importer or distributor or there is any changes to the establishment activities, they are required to apply for amendments. And every 3 years, they are required to renew their license before the license is expired. All right, next. Oh, I'm sorry, we have to stop sharing first because there are a slight technical issue here. All right, so this is the next slide. This is basically just a reiteration to the previous slide with slide detail on what is the requirement and the document that need to be submitted during the application. Okay, again, in the step 1, manufacturer and AR, importer, distributor required to develop and implement the quality management system. So manufacturer must comply with the ISO 13485, and the rest must comply with the requirement of GDPMD. Second step, they are required to choose registered CAB. Currently, we have around 22. Okay, and they must conduct the conformity assessment, basically audit on their premise and also their office, warehouse, and whatever location that is subjected under the act and involved in the supply chain of the medical device. Okay, and step 3, they are required to submit the documentation to the MDA. So before we go any further, I just want to reiterate here that manufacturer here only refers to local manufacturer, and the requirement of licensing does not extend to the foreign manufacturer. So if any of the Brazil manufacturer interested in selling or supply the device in Malaysian market, they are required to appoint the authorized representative. And the authorized representative under step 3 required to obtain the letter of authorization from the foreign manufacturer. Okay, so the letter of authorization is one of the documents that's going to link the local authorized representative to the foreign manufacturer. Right, and after the submission of document, of course, there will be a review of application by NDA. And so there are slight typo here. The approved will be put into the MDAR for 3 years, okay, for establishment license. And once application approved, license amendment, if there is any changes to the establishment activities, renewal of establishment license, device registration, maintenance of QMS, and compliance to establishment license condition. All right. So if I'm too fast, you can just ask me to repeat any part of my slide. That's should be fine now. Okay, next slide. So sorry again, we have to re-upload the slide because there is a technical issue. Okay, so here's some statistic on current establishment license issued by MDA. So far, until April 2025, we have around 2.5 thousand distributor, and we have around 2,000 authorized representative, 1.7 thousand importer, and 599 local manufacturer. Okay, so there are 2,000 representatives that you can choose, or maybe you can appoint local representative of your own if you wish to supply your medical device in a local market. All right, here's some of the responsibility of the establishment while holding a valid establishment license. They have to maintain the quality management system so that they can show the continuous compliance of the standard. So for example, the ISO 13485 or the DPMD, and at the same time, they must comply with the establishment license condition. And they have to renew the license at least 3 months before the expiry date, and they have to update their license information regularly. And at the same time, also they have to comply with the authority instruction from time to time and fulfill their post-market obligation. All right, so every licensed establishment will be listed in the registry. So our registry only list out the establishment with active license. If the license is suspended or revoked, they will be taken out from the registry and will be listed in the in other lists. All right, so here in registry, you can find the name of the licensed establishment together with its the license number, the validity of the license, and also what type of role they are holding. And of course, any license that MDA suspended or revoked will be listed in our portal. Okay, so that public may access this portal to ensure that if there is any non-compliance, if, for example, the establishment supply medical device during their license suspension or revocation, then they can report to MDA for enforcement activities. So some of the activities that might cause the license to be revoked or suspended is distributing unregistered medical devices, changing or adding operational sites without the MDA approval, falsification of document, and also not active QMS certification. All right, so I think that's all from me. This is a very short presentation. Of course, if you have any question or any part of my presentation that is not very clear, you can always raise your hand or maybe put your question in the chat box. All right, thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you, Mr. Fadzili, for the information. And just to finish the MDA presentation, I ask please Ms. Noor Faziha, the Assistant Director of Post-Market Division of MDA, to present the post-market surveillance and compliance. You are on mute. It's muted. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear.
Okay, hi, so good morning to everyone and good evening to my fellow friends here. So today, I will give you a brief presentation on post-market surveillance and compliance. And before I start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Fasiha from Post-Market Division. And like, if you have any question to ask me via email, you can
Ms. Faziha, it's muted, I believe. Let's see. Let's check if it's. I can see you, but I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah, we cannot hear you.
Just 1, 2, 3.
Now it's working.
You can hear me right now?
Yes.
Good. You can continue the presentation, okay? Hello? Okay, I can continue, right? Okay, so before we
Yes.
start, I would like to introduce what post-market system is all about, okay? So post-market system is like a house, and post-market surveillance and vigilance is like a key to the bedroom, okay? So the term post-market system refers to the broader framework or infrastructure within which post-market surveillance and vigilance is implemented, okay? To ensure overall compliance. So by definition, post-market vigilance refers specifically to the action of monitoring, reporting, and investigation of adverse events and device-related incidents. While post-market surveillance system is the systematic process conducted by the manufacturer to monitor the performance and safety of the medical device throughout its life cycle and after it is placed in the market, okay? So post-market surveillance system, or known as PMS, is an ongoing process of monitoring, collecting data, analyzing it, and transform the data into something that for improvement, okay? Okay, next. But for today, I will emphasize more on post-market surveillance, okay? So by definition, post-market surveillance is a process to enable manufacturers to perform monitoring, collecting data from the actual use of medical device, analyzing this data, and using the information in the appropriate process, such as product realization, risk management, communicating to authority, or product improvement. Meaning that you are collecting the data, you analyze the data, and you come up with something for another input, okay? Okay, but then what about AR? What about the distributor? And what about the importer? So all of these roles will assist the manufacturer in terms of field performance, submitting report to MDA, or coordinating recall or follow-up. Okay. So here, okay, so this diagram illustrates the medical device life cycle, starting from the initial concept to the product realization. So agree with me that for every medical device in this world, before it is placed in the market, it will undergo various testing, such as functional testing, technical testing, usability testing, and these testing are conducted in a very limited condition, in a controlled condition, on a limited group of users. Then, however, once the device is launched to the real market, here comes the importance of PMS. PMS become essential for the manufacturer to assess whether the safety and the effectiveness from the broader population. Okay, because when you submit all documents to the pre-market, the report are from control environment. But once the product is launched to the market, we can get more information from user experience itself, okay? So here comes the importance of PMS. So how PMS support and integrates with QMS? We all know that for every manufacturer in this world, they are bound to ISO standard, which is ISO 13485, right? So QMS and PMS, they are interrelated, okay? Post-market surveillance is not a separate process. It is actually a core part of QMS, and under ISO 13485, especially under clause 8, manufacturers are required to monitor products that they are released, because to ensure that they are not just relying on the pre-market testing, but continuously checking that device perform safely and effectively in the real world. And secondly, PMS will give us a valuable feedback from actual user in real environment. Therefore, these data will become input for another process such as corrective and preventive action (CAPA) or a design changes or another process update. Okay, so after that, the PMS will support in the risk management itself. In case once you collecting the data and after analyzing the data, you find out that this device like bring another risk. Therefore, you are required to update your risk management in your QMS, and it will give you another insight to your device. Okay. And other than that, PMS finding often lead to CAPA. For example, if you have like more complaint, you may take action on it. Okay, and this complaint will be subject to audit, inspection, and review. Okay? And lastly, the PMS will help us to stay compliant to the regulatory, like EU, like US FDA, as well as MTA itself. So we, as authority, we expect manufacturers to collect real-world data and use it to improve safety and performance of the device. Therefore, PMS is the mechanism that makes it possible and feedback into QMS. Okay. Okay. Next, post-market surveillance serves the following main purpose. The first one, just like I mentioned earlier, the PMS will help you to monitor the medical device safety and performance. Number two, it will helps you to meet regulatory requirement. Like unlike EU, they impose for PMCF, but in Malaysia, we has not yet established a specific regulatory requirement for proactive PMS. We just require establishment to do more on vigilance part. Okay. And the third one is to contribute to the life cycle management. Once you do the PMS, you can know whether your device is in the state of art or not. Okay. So this signal can trigger to design modification, a change of intended use, or something else. So what are the key components of PMS? So there are 4 key components of PMS, which are number 1, evaluate, collect, and plan. These are the key point when you are doing PMS. Okay, you need to act, evaluate, collect, and plan. No, wrong. The plan, collect, evaluate, and act. Okay, so firstly, you need to plan what you are going to do, how you are going to do the PMS, right? So the first step in the post-market surveillance is proper planning. So the first step in the PMS is to have a proper planning. This involves clearly defining the objective, the scope and method that will be used to monitor the device that has been placed on the market. We need to take account several key factors, such as the type of the product, the risk classification, and its intended use. For example, high-risk implantable device will require more rigorous surveillance than a low-risk disposable item. So at this stage, it is also important to establish responsibilities, meaning that who will collect the data, what data you will collect, and how you are going to act on it, okay? So in short, proper planning set the foundation for an effective PMS system. Next. So once planning is in place, the next critical step in post-market surveillance is data collection. You are required to know what data you are going to collect from. It is from complaint, it can be from adverse event report, from feedback, from literature review or registries. PMCF like you doing or social media. It can depend on you. You can choose what kind of data do you want to do, you want to analyze. Okay, then after that, after collecting data from various sources, the next important step is to evaluate that information carefully. We analyze the data to identify any emerging risks, either new or previously known issue that could impact patient safety and performance. We also look for any trend, for example, increase in the same issue or not. Okay, so the purpose of the evaluation is to assess whether this finding affect safety and performance or benefit risk of the device. All right. So if the evaluation shows that the risks have increased or the product no longer meets safety expectation, we may need to take further actions such as updating the IFU, modifying the design, or maybe initiating a recall process, okay? So this step is very critical for making informed and evidence-based decision, okay? And lastly is act on the analyzing data. So once we have evaluated the data and identify any potential risk or trend, the next step is to determine whether any actions are needed. So this decision is based on the severity and impact of the finding. If the issue poses a risk to patient or user, we must respond appropriately, okay? Some possible action includes corrective action and preventive action. Sometimes we require, sometimes manufacturer may update their risk management file, and in some cases you may require to amend your labeling, okay? And for more serious issue, you might need to conduct a product recall, and disseminate any field safety notice to user. Okay, so this stage, it is all about making a right decision to protect public health from any unnecessary adverse event. Okay. And I think that's all from me. Like if you have any question regarding post-market surveillance system, you can send me an email or we can discuss through this platform, okay? Okay, that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Faziha, for the information. I already received some questions, but I will let those for the Q&A session in the end of the webinar. Well, I thank again the MDA for all the presentation and information shared. I now invite Mr. Isham, the Deputy Director of Life Sciences and Medical Technology Division of the Malaysian Investment Development Authority, to present the investment opportunities in the country. Please, Ms. Isham.
Okay. Hi. Good evening. Can you hear my voice clear?
Yeah, I can see you as well as the presentation.
Okay, we'll start with my presentation. Good evening from Malaysia. Buah Noi Tidak Malaysia. My name is Ibzham Abdul Kadir. I'm from Malaysian Investment Development Authority. The topic that I'm covering aims to provide potential investor and medical device manufacturers with a strategic understanding of Malaysian medical device industry. In general, MIDA is a Malaysian principal agency of promoting investment, both domestic and foreign. It works to attract, facilitate, and support investment across various sectors and regions. As to date, MIDA have 21 overseas centers and 12 state offices, which includes San Jose, which cover Brazil, New York, Chicago, London, and etc. Over the few decades, MIDA have been instrumental in Malaysian industrial growth by promoting FDI, DI, primarily in manufacturing and services. Its 5 core functions includes policy advocacy, investment promotion, granting license, incentive, project monitoring, and business support. That is on talent sourcing and tech collaborations. Within the investment ecosystem, MIDA comprehensive function cover a wide spectrums. This includes promotion, securing crucial approvals for manufacturing license, tax incentive, non-fiscal assistance, as well as providing facilitation through MIDA state offices, talent acquisition support, and essential post-investment and monitoring services. Beyond MIDA comprehensive support, the process involved critical steps such as site assessment and environmental impact, business licensing of compliance, manpower and social security, utilities and infrastructure, custom and protections. As a Malaysian investment one-stop center, our strategic goals are designed to transform the Malaysian investment landscape. We aim to facilitate the investor business journey, speed up various approval process, and bring together government, ministry, and agency under one roof. All of this is to achieve MIDA visions to enable Malaysia to be premier, investor-friendly, and business-friendly destination in the regions. This slide illustrates the key areas of coverage. It is categorized into medical devices, pharmaceuticals, biotechnology and cosmetic and personal care, each with its own comprehensive subsegments. It's important to note that medical devices are designated as Malaysian new industrial master plan subsector focus areas, reflecting its strategic importance in our coverage. Within the NIP 2023 framework, you can see that the medical devices are specifically targeted sectors, demonstrating their critical importance to Malaysian national economic growth. This sector, alongside other like semiconductors and aerospace, are central to achieving our macroeconomic targets for value-added GDP, employment, and median salary. As you can see from the maps, Malaysia is solidifying its position as the tech hub of Southeast Asia. We are not just a global offshore manufacturing hub, but we are proud to host the highest number of MedTech MNC in the entire Southeast Asian region. These include such as Abbott, Boston Scientific from United States, Ambu from Denmark, B. Braun, Germany, and Smith & Nephew from United Kingdom. Malaysian vibrant medical device industry is strategically clustered across West Malaysia with distinct regional strength. West Malaysia is broadly divided into northern, eastern, central, and southern region, each contributing to our diverse output of medical product, which includes orthopedic implants, surgical instruments, pacemaker, medical glove, mask, and contact lenses. Focusing on the northern region of Malaysia, particularly Penang, it has established itself as a powerhouse in the MedTech sector, boasting the highest concentration of MedTech companies, including 6 of the global top 30 medical device companies by revenue, such as Abbott, Boston Scientific, and B. Braun. This success stemmed from Penang pioneering electrical ecosystem in the 1970s, which laid crucial infrastructure for the current MedTech sector. Importantly, it also creates positive spillover effect into the adjacent state of Kedah. Moving south, the central region is a robust hub, especially for medical glove production, reached 11.4 billions in export in 2024, and it's strong in producing plastic and rubber components. The southern region strategically leveraged its proximity to Singapore, offering a competitive cost of doing business, while the eastern region show a growing strength led by Malaysian company. Together, this region contribute a diverse product, solidifying Malaysian position as a key player in the global markets and device landscape. Malaysian medical devices industry operate within a robust and integrated ecosystem spanning the entire value chain from upstream R&D and component manufacturing through midstream manufacturing and assembly to downstream manufacturing related services and sales distributions. This is all underpinned by incentive supporting services from key industry players, various national and international certification bodies, critical enablers like MIDA and NCER, specialized testing facilities, further supported by industry associations such as AMI, parent team with the entire system, ultimately serving public and private hospitals, pharmacies, and wellness centers. Investors will also be encouraged to focus more on higher value added and complex consumable production or to form a JV with the local partners. Based on the investment performance from 2015 to Q1 2025, the medical devices industry in Malaysia has attracted an impressive of 53.2 billion in approved investment across 609 projects, leading to the creation of over 129,000 jobs. This robust performance is largely balanced between foreign and domestic direct investment, reflecting a healthy growing ecosystem. Okay, this is based on the government facilitation. A manufacturing license is a mandatory for companies engaged in the manufacturing activities in Malaysia if they meet either of the following criteria. If the shareholder funds more than 2.5 millions above, or the employment of 75 or more full-time employees, then they can be granted with manufacturing license. However, if the company does not meet these minimum criteria, then they can apply for the exemption from manufacturing license. A manufacturing license can qualify a company for a range of government incentive or facilitation, such as pioneer status, partial or full exemption from income tax of specific period, investment tax allowance, and allowance on qualifying capital expenditure that can reduce taxable income, or exemption from import duties on raw material and machinery. We touched a little bit on the incentive covered by MIDA. Malaysian provide a clear frameworks of tax incentive designed to attract investment, primarily through the Promotion of Investment Act 1986. Investor can choose between pioneer status, which grants substantial income tax exemption for 5 years, or 70% of general project, and a full 100% for those classified as a high technology. The alternative is the investment tax allowance that allow a 60% allowance on the capital expenditure to be offset again up to 70%, or even 100% of statutory income depending on the project nature. It's important to remember that these two statuses are mutually exclusive. To get the incentive or facility from the government, all applications must be submitted through online, through MIDA investment portal. The process generally involves submitting details, company information, business plan, financial statement, and others. This is my last slide. To summarize, Malaysia is prime for your next medical device investment. MIDA stands ready to be your facilitator, offering support across reinvestment, services, automation, green initiative, funding, and talent. Let's connect and build the future together. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Isham, for the information. Well noted, everything related to the medical devices and benefits in Malaysia. I now invite Mr. Andy Lee, who is, well, wearing many hats today, but as a board member of the Medical Device Authority in Malaysia, he's also chairman for the Association of Malaysian Medical Industries and Director of Government Affairs and Policy for Johnson & Johnson's. Mr. Andy Lee, please feel free to start your presentation.
Right, thank you very much for your kind words. just to have that on record is my day job is with Johnson & Johnson. And of course, today, a bit of caveat, I'm representing the medical device industry, which is AMMI as an association and at the capacity of chairman. And my presentation is about the Malaysian medical device industry. So just to let everyone understand that in terms of what I present today, is really a reflection of the association. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of presentation, I've got about 15 minutes really running through very quickly about the association itself, overview of the medical device industry, which was touched quite comprehensively by Maida, Mr. Isham, and of course, a bit about the market outlook for Malaysia. Yeah, so moving on to the association itself, we were established in 1989. In terms of total medical device manufacturers in Malaysia, we have got about 300, close to about 300 medical device companies, right? Medical device manufacturing companies, and the association takes about is representing about 1/3 of the medical device manufacturers in Malaysia, right? So, but the 1/3 of the medical device manufacturers in Malaysia are the biggest, most prominent manufacturers in the country, right? Majority of our members are multinationals, and of course, the capacity of what they produce is of large scale and mainly for export purposes, right? In terms of membership, we have about over 54,000 workforce, highly skilled workforce within the companies of the members of AMMI. Right. Just to give a snapshot in terms of economic contribution of the 1/3 of membership of the medical device manufacturers, it is quite substantial for Malaysia itself. Cumulative investment was about 15 billion in terms of membership members alone. Running down to export, collective export is about close to 20 billion. In terms of exchange rate, is about 4 ringgit 25 today to $1, right? So just give you a bit of a sensing in terms of the size of the contribution of members of MMI. Okay, the vision and mission for the association, we are really in terms of the voice of the medtech industry for Malaysia, and we envisage to be the leading global medtech, to have the leading global medtech ecosystem driven by talent, innovation, and manufacturing excellence. Right. In terms of mission, is really to be the voice of the Malaysian medtech industry, fostering global competitiveness through our strategic pillars, right? So what are the strategic pillars that we deploy to support our members in terms of policy advocacy, as what Mr. Isham highlighted earlier, is one of our efforts of the Medical Device Association, AMMI, is to elevate the whole medtech sector for the country. And it's a great testimonial and recognition by the government to identify medical device sector as one of the top 5 national industrial master plan for 2030, right? So this is something that is a big recognition for the industry, and also the support coming from the government of the day. Right. Second pillar is really to enhance talent development. We conduct close to 200 course very specific to medical device sector for manufacturing excellence, right down to regulatory conformity requirements, and also capacity building for employees of our member companies. There is also Pillar 3, operational excellence, and also industry engagement, which is currently what we are doing. Operation excellence is really about bringing, rather opening doors for our existing members to SMEs, the small medium enterprise manufacturers, to see what we call large scale manufacturing, right? From likes of B. Brown, Boston Scientific, in terms of their manufacturing setup. This really to promote a better ecosystem for Malaysia, right? Just going very quickly on the second agenda. In terms of the manufacturing footprint for Malaysia, we are seen to be the manufacturing hub for Southeast Asia. We have got the highest number of manufacturing plants of multinationals located in one country in Southeast Asia. We have got the largest medical device market in Southeast Asia, and of course, the biggest talent pool in this region, right? We are established to be competing with Ireland, Puerto Rico, and Costa Rica, right? So these are the three global medical device centers or hubs that supplies a lot of the medical device around the world. So when you look at Malaysia, we have got the highest concentration of multinationals, has established its footprint in terms of manufacturing, and what has highlighted earlier by MDA and also by MIDA. These are the familiar names that you will see in Malaysia, which has who are running their manufacturing plant. Yeah. So this is just one or two news coverage. We've got 10 out of, or rather today, around the region, 1/3 of the top global firms or medical device companies has already established its manufacturing footprint in the country, in Malaysia. Yeah. What do they produce? From highly complex devices, pacemakers, orthopedics, implants, to very what we call consumable items, right? Malaysia is known for one of the biggest suppliers of catheters in the world, and also surgical gloves, right? So these are the consumables that is coming out from Malaysia itself, from our homegrown manufacturing. Yep. So when we look at raising the value chain of manufacturing, we are having a lot more of the higher value manufacturing of medical device being established in Malaysia. Yeah. So export for 2024, 8.8 billion through all around the world, Europe, America, in the European region, and of course, Asia Pacific. Yeah. Now, when we look at the sector itself, comparing investments and job opportunities, medical device in the healthcare sector, in Malaysia, we are very big, right, compared to the pharmaceutical sector, right? We are, in terms of approved investment, 19 times bigger than pharmaceutical in Malaysia. In terms of job opportunities, 33 times larger than the pharmaceutical sector. Okay. Now, why Malaysia is such a attractive place, right? In terms of we can from the association level, we highlight 5 big areas that promotes Malaysia as the destination of investment for medical device. Solid infrastructure. When we look at the R&D, the supporting infrastructure for manufacturing, distribution, and shared services. In fact, the earlier presenter also highlighted some of the infrastructure that has been put in place and is already existing, right? Some of the explanation earlier on about investment promotion and also incentives. It has been a great journey for medical device. In terms of working with the Malaysian government, they are one of the best in the region to actually listen to the industry and understand what the industry needs, and really sometimes very, very proactive in terms of supporting the industry itself. Yep. So very, very happy on that front from the association front itself. Yep. So in terms of talent pool, we've got what I call the benefit of the E&E sector, right? So the E&E sector in Malaysia is known as the Silicon Valley of the East in Asia Pacific, right? So in terms of talent pool, there is a huge few 100,000 talent pool of E&E sector that fits into medical device high value manufacturing, right? So there is a great strength on this front. We've got strong IP laws within the country, and of course, like I mentioned, the E&E sector and automotive and also precision machinery industry all supports the whole ecosystem of the medical device manufacturing in Malaysia. Yeah, so that is a bit of flavor of the medical device for Malaysia. Just giving you a bit more on the market outlook on the country, right? Now, earlier on, I mentioned that Malaysia is the biggest market for medical devices. This is based on the worldwide medical device market Factbook 2025. That's the source of it. If you look at the ASEAN market in the region, Malaysia is of the size of 2.5 billion, right? This is valuation of size of 2024 in the 2025 report, right? If you look at population size, Malaysia is about 33 million compared to all the other neighboring countries of Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia. If you can appreciate the expenditure of healthcare in Malaysia is also quite commendable, right? That supports the market size. Yeah. In terms of growth, when we look at the market analysis, when we talk about the earlier 2.5, rounding to the exact number is about 2.477 billion US dollars. The CAGR growth is almost 8% throughout the 2 decades. Okay, now in the breakdown, just to give you a bit more flavor in terms of the size of sectors or categories of products, when we look at the growth in this CAGR growth, you can actually give a bit of flavor in terms of where are the areas of opportunity in Malaysia. Yeah. If you look at growth of population and versus orthopedic usage, it is reflective of the size of the population. But when you look at consumables, look at imaging apparatus, and of course, patient aid, which is categorized under the categorization of those reports, those are the biggest opportunity for Malaysia. Okay. Moving forward, in terms of projection and forecasts, every sector is a growth sector, right? In terms of medical device for Malaysia, right? So these are the clear indicators that gives the what I call robust environment for medical device sector in Malaysia, and one of the few reasons that Malaysia's medical device industry is also being recognized by the government as one of the most robust sectors for the country, right? So this is a quick snapshot in terms of our medical device industry for Malaysia. And we always do what I call an annual industry summit, which is run by the association, and of course, very well supported by all our members of multinationals. You can check out our website of the association. It gives you a bit more depth in terms of what we present and what we run in terms of MedTech industry summit and all the supporting programs that we do for our member companies within AMMI. Yep. All right. So thank you very much. This is the website that www.ammi.com.my. Right. So this is a website that you can get to just understand a bit more of AMMI as an association, leading association for Malaysia. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Renji, for the information. Just to finish our presentations, and well, before that, I will ask kindly ask all participants who has questions to register in the chat, because we will begin shortly the Q&A session. In the middle time, I will invite, please, Mr. Rafael Alves, Sales Supervisors of Opus PAC, which is a Brazilian manufacturer associated with BMO and who has quite experience in Malaysia and Southeast Asia region. And he will explain a little bit about the company and the experience in the region. So please, Rafael and the others, if you want, and if you have questions, you might write it on the chat, please.
So thank you everyone for attending this, for joining this important webinar. So good morning for those who is in Brazil, and good evening for those who is here in Malaysia. It's a great pleasure to be demonstrating and to display and explain a little bit about how is the experience of Opus PAC here in the region. So let me just move my slide. Okay, so let me just introduce a little bit about Opus PAC. So Opus PAC is a Brazilian company. Our headquarters is in São Paulo, but we also have office in Spain and also in the USA. We are specialized in unit dose solutions for the pharmacy. So we are a leader in terms of preparing the unit dose, prepare the medications, but keeping the medications inside of the original package, so we don't remove the blister. And once that we have our solution installed, we can increase the patient safety and we can improve the pharmacy efficiency. And we have already installed our solutions in 1,000 hospitals in across 27 countries. So here it's three peoples, which is really important and well known inside of Opus PAC. So first is Mr. Victor Basso. He is in charge of always studying about the market and finding new solutions for the marketing. So he is always launching new equipment. He is always posting. So now that we have a platform called Opus PAC University, he is sharing his experience in the marketing for those who is registered. We also have Mr. Fernando Jacinto, who is the responsible for all the commercial department, and I am Rafael, and I'm the sales supervisor, and I'm focused on the Asian countries and Oceania. Now I'm based in Kuala Lumpur, just to support the distributor here and in the region. So here is just how Opus PAC can operate inside of the hospital. So our solutions can be installed inside of the warehouse, the unit dose room, which is the part of the hospital that we can have a lot of equipment. We can install equipment in the central pharmacy and in the satellite pharmacy. So once that we start installing all the equipment in the hospitals, we can make sure that the patient safety will be high, and also we can make sure that we can start creating a closed loop medication. So once that you can track all the medications inside of the hospital, once that you can know all the patient that you need to send some medication, we can make sure that we will send the right drug for the right patient in the right time, in the right dosage, and we will give the nurse or the pharmacist the right instructions to prepare the drug and to give it to the patient. So this is just a little bit about our solution. So we are providing equipment and also software for the hospital. So the first, second, and third solution is pump equipment. A great difference between Opus Pachy and the other players is Opus Pachy, we have a lot of equipment so we can adapt accordingly to the hospital size. So we have equipment to install in a hospital that has around 20 beds, but we also can install, and in fact, we have it in Brazil. We have already installed our solutions in a hospital that has around 3,000 beds, so we can adapt our solution. Our solution is modular, so we can adapt it according to the hospital needs. The fourth is also solutions that we will identify, but this one it's only focused for ampoules and the vials. So we can print all the informations and we can print extra information that the hospital asks to us in a flag, and then we can add it in the ampoules and in the vials. And the last solution is also unit dose solutions, but only for the liquid. So instead, we send the whole bottle of the syrup, for example, to the patient. We can only send the dosages that the patient needs. So we don't need to send all the medications, so we can make sure that we are sending the right dosages for the patient. At the same time, for the hospital, they don't need to send the more medications that the patient need. So the hospital can save a lot of medications because once that you send, you cannot make sure that these medications will return for the central pharmacy. Opus Pachy has two kinds of solutions. So the first is the unit dose solution, and the second is the logistic solution. So once that we have already prepared all the unit dose, we have two solutions to store the medication. So the first is Opus Peak. So this solution should be installed inside of the central pharmacy. So once that we install this solution, we can start preparing the prescription and send the medications according to the prescription. So all the time that the doctor prescribes some medication, it will appear in the screen. So the operator just needs to select the name of the patient and prepare the prescription. And for those medications that we need to keep close to the patient, close to the rooms, we have the Pick One, which is equipment that the nurse or the pharmacist can take out the medications, but we can make sure we can link both. We can link the medications that the nurse collected, and we can link with the patient that the nurse will give. So in this case, we can make sure about all the medications that we have inside of the hospital. We can make sure what kind of drugs we have already give for that patient. So this is what we call closed loop medication. So we always look for if we send the right medications for the right patient, and if we don't send the wrong dosage, for example. This is our global presence. So the red point is the countries where we have already installed the equipment. And the blue point is the countries where we are studying and where we are planning to be until the end of the next year. So here in Southeast Asia, we have already installed the equipment in 3 countries. So Singapore, we have equipment here in Malaysia and also in Vietnam. So Malaysia is a key country to us, especially because first, the manner that the Malaysia manage the medications inside of the hospital, it's similar with what we have in Brazil. So our products fit perfect here in the market. We don't need to adapt our product. So we know what the hospital needs and we can offer our product. And also in terms of logistic, it really makes sense to us because in the future, we will use Malaysia as our reference in the region. So we will invite other other countries, other hospital from other countries to visit Malaysia and to see the solutions working here. So just let me give you an overview about how Opus Pack is here in the region. So in Singapore is our main market here. So there we have already installed 13 units, and we are providing the unit dose for all the public hospitals there. In Vietnam, we have already installed our premium solutions there, and we have installed it in the FV Hospital, which is a flagship healthcare hospital. And here is just, let me share about the strategy that we are using to access the market. So first, we just found the right distributor. So now we have an agreement with Czech Technology. So once that we just start to operate with them, we can easily access the hospitals and we can easily present our solutions to every hospitals here in Malaysia. Later, we just send 4 unit demos to here. So the distributor, they are using our equipment first to display in some events, and later he's bringing the equipment to display inside of the hospital. So the hospital, they can test the equipment for 2 or 3 months, and later they will ask to buy the equipment. The events that we have been attending, APHM is the main event for us because it's organized by the association, the pharmacy association here. And in this event, we have a booth and we have displaying the equipment there. This year, we will be in the WHX. Actually, it's happening now. So we will be there as a visitor. And maybe in the next event, we will bring it more equipment and we will have a booth there. And also medical fair, which will occur in September. So the idea is to be there. This year will be in Bangkok, but it's an event that has a regional impact. So this year we will probably be there just to see the attenders and also who is the players that we can see there. But probably in the next event, we will try to have a booth there and bring the equipments there as well. So the currently status that we have now, so we have already present the equipment for 13 hospitals. So actually the equipment we just installed this week in the hospital of Kuala Lumpur. So we have already demonstrated for 13 hospitals. And I was reallocated to Malaysia to be closer to the distributor. And also we could have an engineer here. So the engineer is making sure that all the hospitals, they have a great experience with the equipment. So once that we try to install some equipment here from Brazil, the first questions that they will do is if they will need to be waiting for a response from Brazil or if they have some base here. So the idea to have an engineer here is just to support the hospitals in the same time zone, and if it's necessary, the engineer can easily go to the hospital and to do a technical visit. And here it's just a forecast about the sales. So by the end of this year, we are planning to have 6 units installed here. And by the end of the next year, we will be around the 20 units installed here. So all the demonstrations we have already done. And the next step is we are just waiting for the hospital to get the budget. And we will just start preparing and installing the solutions here. So thank you one more time. Thank you for the opportunity to just report how is the Opus Pac experience here. And please, if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact me or to just leave a message in the chat box, okay?
Thank you, Rafael, for the presentation and for sharing the information about Opus Pac. For us as an association and being part of Opus Pac history, it's a great pleasure and honor to have you today and to see a company like this showcasing the quality and the technology that are being manufactured here in Brazil. So once again, thank you and congratulations for your work and effort. Well, now we will start the Q&A session. I've received some questions, mostly for MDA, but I have one here for Andy, representing the association. So maybe we can start with this. Mr. Andy, the association can help Brazilian manufacturers to find and connect with distributors in Malaysia. Is there any association related to importers and distributors in the country?
Yes, there is a association called Malaysian Medical Device Association, MMDA. So in the country, there are 3 associations. So MMDA is the association for mainly importers, right? Distributors, right? So yeah, so that is a association that Brazilian manufacturers can actually reach out to.
Perfect.
So
And they deal with dental products also?
dental products, I can't remember the association name. I think MDA earlier on had a presentation on the name of the dental association.
Oh, perfect. It's a different
Yeah.
one. Perfect. Thank you. For MDA, is it possible to have more than one authorized representative for the same product?
My name is Fazli, so I'll be answering these questions. So yes, definitely, foreign manufacturer can appoint more than one authorized representative for the same or different devices.
Perfect. The second question is related to this first one. The authorized representative is necessarily the company that will import the medical devices, or it can be a third party responsible only for the registration.
The registration of the device on behalf of foreign manufacturer must be done by the appointed authorized representatives. And the subsequent activity, for example, the importation and distribution, can be done by the same authorized representative as long as they hold the valid relevant licenses. They can also, in alternative way, appoint another licensed distributor and importer to do on the AR behalf to import and distribute the device.
Okay.
So that's clear.
Yes, perfect. Also, a third question. Here in Brazil, some companies dealing with medical devices also manufacturing veterinary products for animals. Does in Malaysia has any specific legislation about it or an authority for veterinary products? Maybe I know that MDA only deals with human health, but I don't know if you have the answer. We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Our representative who present on the product registration, she will explain on the question just now, mainly on the medical device interpretation under our Act 727.
Can you repeat the question?
Does Malaysia has a specific legislation about veterinary products, so medical devices related to animal health? Is there any authority responsible for the registration of these products?
Actually, we at MDA, we only regulate medical device for human use. So for veterinary or for animal, it does not have to register under MDA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we understand that, but is there any other authority or it's not legalized?
There is no other authority for that.
Yeah, okay.
Regulation for device used for
Yeah,
veterinary.
perfect. Understood. And the last question that I have received here. Well, Anvisa in Brazil, which is our regulatory body, it's the main authority here in the South America region for medical devices, alongside other authorities such as FDA, CE from Europe, Japan, Canada. Anvisa, it's also a co-founder member of IMDRF, which is the forum for medical devices harmonization in regulatory bodies. We see through the presentation that MDA recognizes the other members of this group as through the medical devices path, it's easier if you have their certification. So we want to know if Anvisa could start some conversations with MDA so you can recognize as well the certifications that are made here in Brazil. So the companies in Brazil can facilitate their process as well.
Oh, okay. Meaning that you would like to have you would like to propose your suggestion on having any reliance or recognition
Yeah,
on both parties from Malaysia and also Anvisa?
yes.
Is that what you mean? All right. Okay. We can have such an arrangement on that, but we need to have more discussion on this. And also maybe we will need to see on the benefit analysis on both parties to have this kind of cooperation, collaboration. And I do feel that it can benefit both countries, both parties. Why not?
Yes, perfect. Yeah, we have here in Abimo department that is responsible for regulation and the relations with Anvisa. So we will be more than happy to assist this contact between Anvisa and MDA so you can start discussions. For us, it's very important to have the Brazilian registration recognized by other bodies since we are here, the main representative in the region. So I don't know if anyone has any other questions. I just presented the ones that I received here through WhatsApp. If not, I will take this time to thank you all again for attending our
Jose,
partners in
Mr.
Malaysia.
Jose,
Yes, for sure. Please.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is it possible that if you can propose to us on this method so that we can get further arrangement on this? The one that you
Sure, for
mentioned just
sure.
now,
Yes,
collaboration.
we will talk to Anvisa and ask them to contact you directly. We can make these short contacts with them and ask them to look forward. I will have your contacts with the embassy of Brazil, so I can pass them to Anvisa. And certainly,
Sure,
it's of our interest to keep talking with you.
sure.
José, can I just make a few comments?
Sure, por favor, Vitor.
Sorry. and good evening to everyone. My name is Victor. I'm from the Embassy of Brazil in Kuala Lumpur. And just to make two small comments on some of the questions and observations just done. First of all, big thanks to Abimo and to everyone participating, to MDA, MIDA, MMI, Opus PAC for contributing to this session. Also on the question of veterinary products, I think that possibly we can study on that, but I think most likely it should fall under the Department of Veterinary Services. So under the Ministry of Agriculture Malaysia, they normally regulate everything that's related to animal health. But here from the embassy, we contact DVS and also transmit any information we can gather. And also just to say that as was mentioned by José, I think Anvisa is quite a stringent regulatory agency and with high levels of maturity recognized by World Health Organization, by other players and stakeholders. So also it could be something quite interesting to explore in terms of the relationship between regulatory authorities in Brazil and Malaysia. So also happy to work on joint efforts on this initiative.
Thank you, Victor. Well, just to summarize everything and to finalize our webinar, I would like also to thank our partners in Malaysia for accepting the invitation and for your time, for sharing everything with us. All the information is very rich and very important for us, for the companies here manufacturing in Brazil and who are looking for partnerships in Malaysia. These kind of openings that you, MGA, the association, and also MIDA, that you were able to share with us and to connect with these companies, for us, it's very important. We very much appreciate it. Thank you. Again, the embassy, Victor, thank you for assisting and supporting us during these months of organization. Once again, once we finalize the webinar, we will deliver to you the presentations, also the recording. So just to make sure everyone has the material. If you have any doubts, don't hesitate to contact us. We have direct access to the embassy and also to our partners here, and we will be more than happy to help you. So thank you again. See you next time, and hope you have great deals with Malaysia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.